Hello, my name is Sarah Berger, and I'm with the University of Florida's Samuel Proctor Oral History program. Today we're here, it's May 27th, and we're attending the Florida Folk Festival at the Stephen Foster State Park in White Springs, Florida. I'm here with Deborah. Could you give us your full name?
My name is Willle the Losen.
Great. And where are you from?
I live in Hawthorne, Florida.
Is that where you were born and raised?
I was born in Gainesville and raised in Hawthorne and Gainesville.
Okay, so very Florida born.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been attending the Florida Folk Festival?
Since 2005.
Oh wow. Do you have a favorite year or like a particular memory that you would say stands out?
Oh gosh. Every year is amazing. I can't tell you what year they were, but just, they're all good. Just the activity around it and the people. And one that's very memorable, and maybe a lot of people say this, is when they had it in November, because it was a little out of the ordinary for the Florida Folk Festival, having cold weather and bonfires and such. But every year is just a new great memory.
Was that a few years back that it was in November?
I think that was in the early 2000s, maybe like 2008. There was a fire nearby. It was a year that the wildfires were really bad, so the fires got close enough to where they decided that the park was too close to keep everybody safe.
Cool. So what is your role in the Florida Folk Festival? Are you a musician? Do you come just to enjoy the music? What do you do?
I demonstrate in the area called Florida Remembered, and there's a number of demonstrators showing and talking about crafts and ways of living of years gone by. In the past, we've demonstrated log cabin building, how to thatch, use palm fronds to thatch shelters. We teach palm weaving using the native cabbage palm, the state tree.
So you said you've been attending since 2005?
Correct.
Okay. How were you first introduced to the Florida Folk Festival?
I had heard about it for years through probably the University of Florida, through public radio. They would do segments on the Florida Folk Festival and talk about the history and just the amazing things that happen here. And then one of my basket weaving mentors, Nancy Gildersleeve, asked me if I'd like to demonstrate. And I said, sure, that'd be wonderful. And we've been coming ever since.
That's really cool. Do you guys teach basket weaving here?
Yes.
At the festival? That's cool. That's really cool. So talk to me more about the community here. Do you come with a lot of people, or is it people that you've met through the years that you meet up with here? What's the community here look like for you?
It's kind of a mixture. A group of friends got together, and we kind of got this Florida Remembered area kicked off. It started organically, and then it turned into its own area of the festival. So those are friends that I know from outside the festival, and there's also friends that it's like a big reunion. Good friends that I knew a little bit, but got to know better here at the festival, and then I meet people at the festival, and sure enough, they're community members. So it's kind of this neat web of people I know here and outside of the festival. So it's just a mix of a really neat community that extends beyond the folk festival time.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite memory here? I know I asked about a favorite year, but is there a particular thing that happened during the years you've been attending that has just been a great moment of joy, or something that you really appreciate after becoming involved with this community?
Gosh, there's so many that just flood my brain. One interesting thing that I've enjoyed over the years is seeing the children that were coming back then grow up, and now they're adults and on their own and stuff, and so seeing them progress, and they come back and visit. They would come to the folk festival to hang out with us in the beginning, and now they come back to visit and say hello, and then they're off doing their thing. But it's been a real joy to see them grow and mature over the years. As far as like specific memories, there's so many that come to mind. Some years there'll be just incredible music going all around, and waves of people coming by asking questions and saying hello, and it's magic. And then going for swim in the river, on a hot May day, there's nothing like that.
How old were you when you first started attending the festival?
I think I was about 35.
Okay. Because I've heard that it's like a big community where people grow up based on the interviews we've had. So I was wondering if you were ever involved with it, like with your family growing up?
No, I wasn't. I grew up nearby in Gainesville and was not introduced to the folk festival until I was, in my early 30s. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where, like, why wasn't I coming my entire life? And I know families that their kids have grown up here at the folk festival. One of our fellow demonstrators, Ethan Forbes, he grew up coming to the folk festival. I didn't know that, but we were connected and we're into the same kind of crafts, and so we started coming together, and then his parents started coming back after not having been here for years and years. Yeah. That's
really cool. So are you usually here like for the entirety of the festival, all 3 days?
When I'm able to, yeah. And
so what does like a typical day at the festival look like for you?
I personally like to get up early and kind of wander around and see friends. Sometimes I'll go for a run down on the Florida Trail by the river. It's really peaceful and just beautiful. Great way to start the day. And then wander over to our camp in the Florida Remembered area, and just kind of watching everybody get ready, the day unfolding. And then about 10 o'clock, it's people coming and going all throughout the day. You might schedule a class for 2 hours, but 6 hours later, you're still there teaching the class and talking to people and really enjoying company and meeting new people, talking about things that we do, things that they know from their, growing up or in their family history. And so it's a really educational experience. And then at night, there's all kinds of amazing things going on at the festival. There's dancing, contra dancing, great music in the campground, wandering around with friends, listening to the different jam circles, sometimes going for a midnight swim in the river.
It's really cool. Yeah. I've heard from the past interviews we've done that music was like a big central part of it, but also it's like this strong community, and there's a big sense of like just like Florida culture. And you've described a lot of like activities during the day which aren't necessarily focused on music. So how do you think all of these things come together to create like the Florida Folk Festival? Like, what are the core tenets of this festival besides the music?
Yeah, I think the music is something that draws people here, but it's the community that really is what the festival is about, and it's almost like instant family when you come here. People are so welcoming and open. So the music brings people together, but it's way beyond the music, and there's other things besides the music going on that are really great to experience.
How is the food generally year to year? Is there a big selection?
I am not a good judge of that. I haven't been there this year. I don't know if the root beer float people are still here, but that's been a tradition for many, many years, and I had countless root beer floats. Sometimes at night I'm able to go to the food area, but usually during the day it's so busy we don't really get away. But in the past, I've had some good quality food. Sometimes, for a number of years running, I would have a dinner date with a good friend that was the blacksmith, Ben Rogers, and we would sit and catch up and enjoy some good food.
So you mentioned earlier that you do basket weaving, and I'm assuming you teach classes here?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. How did you first introduce to like basket weaving, and was that the reason you were here?
Yeah, that is the reason I was here. I just had an interest in learning to use natural, locally available materials to make things like baskets and other things that are useful. And somehow I got connected with Nancy Gildersleeve, who used to volunteer here, and one year she was recruiting more demonstrators, and she had asked me to join her. I actually met Nancy at the local hardware store. She was a cashier, working on a pine needle basket in between customers. It fascinated me. We got to talking, and we got connected over the years. At the Dudley Farm, I think, was one of the places that we also connected. So it's a great community of like-minded people, and then when we come across others that are interested, we extend that to them and share our knowledge. And for instance, this year there was a lady that was very interested in basket weaving. She hung out pretty much all weekend, and I said, well, next year, why don't you come back and join us and help teach? And she's back this year and jumped in with both feet, and she's loving it.
Was that your own experience too? Like after your first time attending, were you hooked after that initial?
Oh, definitely, yeah, just hooked. Like, can't wait to come back next year. Mm-hmm. And it was really magical.
Yeah, another interviewee described it as magical too. That's a very interesting theme, because it feels like, although there's like a lot of work that goes into this, most people are just like enthralled by like everything that's happening.
Yeah, it really is an important part of a lot of people's lives. Like, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that the parks do, the park does, the volunteers do, and they provide this space that's so important to so many people. I can't put it into words how important this is to people. Even during COVID, they canceled the folk festival, and they had what they called the faux festival, and people came, and they came to the campground. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that year, but it's just so much in people's blood that they want to be here with their loved ones.
Mm-hmm. How would you say your life has been impacted by the festival? Because getting involved with it kind of later in your life, in your 30s, you didn't grow up in this community. How would you say that your life has changed since becoming part of this community, and like how your life has been impacted by it, the festival?
Yeah, in so many positive ways. I think it helped to reassure that the things that I was interested in and am interested in, it mean things to other people, and other people want to share and learn about those things. The friends and basically family now that I've met here that are some of the most special people to me in my life is because of this festival and how our friendship has extended beyond it.
From this community that you have found here, have there been any like big lessons that you've left with that have like impacted the rest of your experiences outside of the festival in this community?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think the importance of loved ones and how important they are to the greater community, to each other, and how important it is to pass on knowledge to people and be willing to share that with others. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to share with others. And sorry, I'm kind of stumbling now.
Yeah. Okay, so you've talked a little bit about the children that are here, and that how like a lot of people sometimes like grow up going to this festival. Do you have any values that you would like to hand down to these people that are like just now coming to the festival or younger generations that are taking part in this tradition?
Wow. Yeah, I think through demonstrating crafts and things that are of interest to kids and grown-ups, it connects us more. We're in this crazy world of social media and electronic connection, but not a lot of physical connection. There's so much of that going on here, where we're just talking and being with each other physically. I think that's really valuable.
So I only have a couple more questions, but I wanted to know, I personally had never heard about the Florida Folk Festival before. So what do you wish that everyone knew about the Florida Folk Festival? Like, what do you think should be like used to like draw people in? The selling point.
Yeah, good question. Well, personally, and I can see this in the people that I've told about the festival and the people that I know attend, it's like we just have this great enthusiasm for it. Like, you gotta go to the Florida Folk Festival. It's so magical. It'll change your life. And so that enthusiasm about it is really important. But, you know, to reach the broader audience, wow, that's a good question. And I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here, but my niece is visiting this weekend, and she grew up in California, now she lives in New York City. And I thought maybe it would be a special thing to bring her to the Florida Folk Festival, but it just doesn't appeal to her for some reason. And it might be that she wants to spend more time with her grandparents or other things, but she didn't sound very interested. And I'm like, it perplexed me, like, because I know about it and I know how magical it is, and how do you introduce that to people that if they were introduced to it, somehow had a peek in the door, it would change their lives. So I don't have an answer to the question. I think that I know the publicity and the radio reports that I've heard, you know, before I ever attended it, it gave me an insight into what this festival was about, and it really piqued my interest. So I think it's important what you all are doing, what the media does, and you know, now it's totally different. Social media could really make a lot of younger people aware of what's going on here.
Before we close up, I just wanted to ask if there were anything that you wanted to say, or any questions you wish I had asked, anything you want to leave, you know, the interview with about the festival.
Well, I think this festival, a lot of people, that family that I've grown to know and love through the festival and outside of the festival, have heavy hearts because one of our dear friends, Rob Blunt, passed away, and he was a big part of the Florida Folk Festival for years. He was a musician. He volunteered in the Folk Life tent. So this year is kind of special because he passed away on Thursday, and everybody's here now on Saturday, and we're able to be together, even though he's gone, and spend quality time in that way. And also, it's a celebration too, and I think he would want us to be here celebrating and enjoying, and yeah, so that's kind. So it's kind of a special year, a very special year in that way. We'll miss him greatly. But I appreciate y'all. You've done, great questions.
Yeah, thank you for your time. This has been a really great experience.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can you say Deborah?
Okay.